Effort isn't power. Alignment is. What if everything you've been taught about making things happen is backwards? What if the effort, the ceremonies, the exhaustive to-do lists and breathless chasing are the very thing keeping your life small? I want to start here. Manifestation, in its simplest form, is not about trying harder. It's about tuning. It's about becoming the kind of person who magneticizes the possibilities you want. When you stop forcing, things begin to arrive with a kind of ease that feels almost like breathing. Think of the universe, or call it the field, as a wide-open room of possibility. It's not passive, and it's not waiting for the loudest scream. It's more like a radio dial. It responds to frequency, not force. The louder your anxiety, the more static you create. The more coherent your inner signal. Mind, emotion, and body aligned, the clearer the station comes through. I use quantum language here as a poetic way to describe this sense of potential and observer influence, not as a physics lesson. The core idea is simple. The field meets whatever you consistently broadcast back into it. And most of us are broadcasting a confused mixture of wanting and fear, desire and doubt. So why does forcing feel so common? Because somewhere along the way we learned that desire equals action equals outcome. We recite affirmations, we visualize for hours, we do manifesting checklists in bright notebooks, and when nothing obvious changes, we double down. We chant louder, we visualize harder, we buy more programs. We treat manifestation like a performance to be perfected. But here's the truth. Technique without alignment just piles more effort on top of existing friction. When what you do with your mind doesn't match what your body and your felt sense are broadcasting, the field hears the loudest signal. And that's often the stuck old pattern living in your nervous system. Let's name what's actually in play. There are 3 layers to your personal transmission: the conscious thought layer, the emotional body, and what I'll call cellular memory. The thought layer is where affirmations sit, where you plan, imagine, and narrate. The emotional body is the tone you feel: excitement, dread, languid curiosity. The color of your wanting. Cellular memory is the deeper, nonverbal record held in posture, breath, relationships, and habit. The muscle tension, the habitual withdrawing, the internalized belief that you don't deserve, or that things must be hard. Most manifesting work addresses the first layer almost exclusively. We train our minds to speak the right words, but the field responds to coherence, an integrated frequency where thought, feeling, and body transmit the same message. If your mind says abundance, your emotion feels small, and your body carries the signature of scarcity, the field picks the strongest pattern. Usually that's the somatic imprint. So the fast road to ease isn't more thinking. It's aligning the 3 layers so they sing together. Before we go deep into practices, please do one small thing that anchors your intention for this conversation. If this lands, subscribe and drop one word in the comments that names the energy you want this week. Maybe flow, maybe trust, maybe peace. Plant that single word seed now. It's a tiny ritual that begins to focus your attention, and attention is the doorway. Now let's take apart the common failure modes of forcing. First, there's the recitation trap, saying affirmations without feeling them. If you keep telling yourself you're worthy while your body registers shame, the words become theater. The field senses the feeling more reliably than the spoken line. Then there's the micromanagement trap, over-monitoring every sign and forcing evidence to appear on a timeline you control. Micromanagement breeds anxiety, and anxiety tightens your nervous system. A contracted nervous system is not fertile ground. Finally, there's the ritual as avoidance trap, piling on ceremonies to dodge the inner work. Rituals can be beautiful, but when they're performed to avoid deeper regulating, they become distractions. So what actually moves the needle? Coherence, a unified signal. When your thoughts, your feelings, and your body align toward the same frequency, the field receives a clear invitation. To build coherence, we must learn how to regulate our nervous system, clean our energetic field, and practice small embodied actions that feel true to the future we want. Let's map those 3 layers more clearly with examples you can feel. The conscious thought layer is the plan you narrate. Imagine someone dreaming of a new career. They write the vision board. They rehearse the elevator pitch in their head. That's not wrong. But thoughts are lightweight if they aren't weighed with emotion and embodied pattern. The emotional layer is the tone beneath the thinking. Are you excited at the idea of that new career or terrified that you'll fail? Do you feel expansion or tightening in your chest? Emotions give color and momentum to thought. If you feel fear most of the time, fear will keep shaping the experience. Cellular memory is the quiet engine. It's how your body learned to respond when opportunities came up. Maybe as a child, you were praised for humility, but criticized for ambition. Over years, your chest tightened whenever you began to claim more. Or maybe you learned to prove your worth by overworking. Those patterns live in your breath, jaw, shoulders, the way you cross your arms. They get transmitted loudly. Even when your mind rehearses success, the body might still pull your energy back into safety. Here's a quick vignette. Imagine you're saying an affirmation like, "I attract supportive people," while your hands clench and you rehearse the last betrayal. What's sent is not the calm, open one-liner on your lips, but the tightening memory of being let down. The field reads that tension as your signal. The fix isn't to try a longer affirmation, it's to loosen the grip in the body so the signal matches the message. Which brings us to nervous system regulation. If manifesting is tuning a radio, your nervous system is the receiver. When the receiver is noisy, flooded with fight, flight, or freeze, it distorts the signal. The ventral vagal state, which some people describe as the social engaged and safe state, is the place where curiosity, creativity, and receptivity live. You don't do your best manifesting from hyperarousal or collapsed shutdown. You do it from a calm clarity where your mind can imagine, your heart can feel, and your body can move with small, decisive steps. A practical way to meet that state is through simple somatic practices that restore safety quickly. Here are two I recommend often because they're effective and accessible. First, a breath and scan that takes about 60 seconds. Begin by noticing where tension lives. Maybe your neck, your belly, your hands. Soften your jaw. Inhale gently for 4 to 6 counts, letting your ribs open, and then lengthen the exhale to 6 to 8 counts, letting your belly release. As you breathe, imagine the exhalation carrying a little more of the old tension out of your system. With each breath, let your shoulders drop a fraction. End this cycle by taking a deep, steady breath in and sighing it out with a small sound if it feels okay. This pattern activates the parasympathetic tone and nudges you toward a calmer place. Even 30 seconds of this will change the tone you broadcast. Second, a hand-on-heart anchor combined with an identity question. Place your hand gently over the center of your chest. Feel the rise and fall beneath your palm. Name an emotion out loud or silently. I notice frustration. I notice tiredness. I notice excitement. Naming is not ignoring, it's recognition. Then quietly ask, what would the version of me who already has this do right now? Wait for whatever comes. It might be a small action, a softer breath, a different posture. Do that one thing. The hand on heart anchors safety. The question shifts attention toward the future self and invites a small, aligned step. A crucial caveat here. If you have deep trauma patterns or intense body memory, these practices can bring up material that needs professional care. Somatic tools are supportive, but they are not a replacement for trained therapeutic support. If something is intense or overwhelming, seek a qualified practitioner. We also need to talk about energetic hygiene. If your inner signal is a radio transmission, energetic hygiene is the regular maintenance that keeps your antenna clear. Daily clearing doesn't mean dramatics. It's ordinary care. Simple practices include starting the day with a short clearing ritual, a few breaths, an intention stated aloud, a visual of letting last night's stress roll off your shoulders. It includes curating your media diet and limiting exposure to draining inputs. It means setting small boundaries, fewer doom scrolls, more time with nourishing people, fewer hours in spaces that compress your energy. Another part of hygiene is movement. Movement changes circulation, lymph flow, and nervous tone. Even gentle stretches, walking outside or shaking out your limbs for a minute can dislodge stuck energy. Think of movement as wringing out a sponge. It releases old water so fresh water can be absorbed. When you move to shift stuck patterns, your body begins to encode a new possibility signal. Now I want to offer a practice I call future memory. It's not visualization in the old, effortful sense. It's a sensory rehearsal that rewires cellular expectation. Start with a calm breath and scan to orient your nervous system. Then bring the future event to mind. A day in the life of the version of you who already has the thing. Instead of narrating outcomes, ask sensory prompts. What do you see in the room? What sounds are present? What do you smell? How does your body feel? The weight of your shoulders, the openness in your chest, the tempo of your steps? What small ordinary detail signals to you that this future is real? The cup on the table, the tone of someone's voice, the feeling of your keys. Stay with those sensory details for 2 to 5 minutes, and then record one small action you can take today that matches that feeling. The point is to create a memory trace in your nervous system that says, this is possible and known, which over time rewires expectation. Pair the future memory practice with one small aligned action. Aligned action is not a checklist of massive leaps. It's a micro step that signals to both your system and the field that you are moving in the desired direction. If your future memory has you confidently speaking in a meeting, your action might be to send one short email to an old colleague offering a comment. If your future memory shows you in a relationship that feels safe, your action might be to say yes to an invitation that feels slightly out of your comfort zone. Smallness matters because it reduces pressure and allows your nervous system to feel the success of completion. The field responds to consistent, coherent signals, not sporadic extremes. Throughout the day, notice choice points, small moments where you can recalibrate. A choice point might be before a meeting, when a text arrives, or when you notice a familiar contraction. Use the hand-on-heart anchor, name the feeling, take 2 steady breaths, and choose one tiny step that aligns with the energy you named. These micro-realignments keep your signal consistent. Over time, they compound. Emotional granularity is another skill that dramatically improves coherence. Most people say, I feel bad, when there are dozens of distinct feelings available. Naming your emotion with precision. I feel disappointed. I feel anxious but curious. I feel resigned, gives you information and power. Precision allows you to respond rather than react. When you can specify how you feel, you can choose a direct response. Soothe, investigate, set a boundary, take a breath, call a friend. Precision reduces drama and increases agency. Here's a short script you can use when a big emotion arises. Acknowledge. Say the feeling name out loud or in your head. Allow. Give the feeling permission to be there without immediately fixing it. Ask. Ask your body what it needs in this moment. More rest, a walk, a hug from a friend, a pause. Decide. Pick one small action that serves the feeling and your desired direction. This 3-step flow keeps you responsive, not reactive. Now let's lay out a simple daily structure that threads all these elements together without becoming another rigid ritual. The goal is consistency, not perfection. You want practices you can sustain and that keep your signal coherent. Morning. Begin with selection. Before your phone, take 3 conscious breaths. Ask a short question. What energy am I choosing today? Feel into the answer, choose one word, and speak it aloud. Do a 60-second breath and scan to settle your nervous system. Then do a 2-minute future memory micro-rehearsal for one small scene from your day, and identify one small aligned action to take in the morning. Throughout the day, notice choice points and use the hand-on-heart anchor when tension arises. Name emotions with precision and respond with tiny aligned steps. Commit to at least one small brave action that is directly connected to the future you rehearsed. Keep your media and relationships curated. Choose input that supports your chosen frequency. If you have to engage with draining material, schedule a clearing practice after. Evening. Do a 5-minute review. Ask yourself, where was I coherent today? Where did I force? List 2 small wins, even if they feel tiny. Name one thing you learned. Express gratitude for one ordinary detail. Rehearse a 2-minute future memory for the next day, planting another small aligned action. End with a few gentle breaths to shift into rest. Notice the rhythm. Morning selection, choice point recalibrations, evening noticing. Repetition is the transformer here. It's not that one perfect ritual will call everything in. It's that consistent, coherent signals shape expectation, reduce surprise, and invite opportunities that fit your frequency. Community matters more than we often admit. We are social beings. Our energy synchronizes with the people around us. If you spend time with anxious, draining people, your signal will be attenuated. If you surround yourself with people who practice steadiness and curiosity, your signal amplifies. This doesn't mean ditching friends who struggle. It means being intentional about when you engage, setting boundaries to protect your nervous system, and seeking out mirrors who reflect the possibilities you want. Community also provides calibration. Other people can tell you what they notice in your energy and help you spot blind spots. If you feel isolated in your practice, consider joining groups that focus on coherence rather than hustle. I want to emphasize a compassionate reframe. Forcing is not moral failure. It's learned behavior. Most of us learned to hustle because that's what our culture rewarded. We were trained to believe effort equals worth. So when we want something, our learned response is to escalate. That response came from survival strategies that may have served us earlier. Now, if your aim is manifestation that feels like flow, the evolution is to unlearn the default. We replace escalation with curiosity, performance with presence, and micromanagement with coherent signaling. Let's be clear about limits. None of this guarantees a specific outcome. You are not owed particular results because you practice these methods. What you do get, reliably, is greater clarity, less internal friction, better nervous system regulation, and the possibility that opportunities will feel more aligned when they appear. If something you deeply want does not arrive, that is not necessarily a failure, it is data. Use it to refine your frequency, not as proof that you're bad at manifesting. To bring all of this together, here's a short guided sequence you can use now to shift from forcing to tuning. If you want, take a moment to sit or stand comfortably. Feel the support under your feet. Close your eyes if that feels safe. Take 3 slow breaths, keeping the exhale slightly longer than the inhale. Place your hand on your heart. Name one specific feeling that's present. Thank the feeling for showing up. Now ask, in a gentle voice, what would my future self, the one who has this, do right now? Wait for one impulse, no matter how small. Commit to doing that one thing within the next 10 minutes. If that felt useful, remember to drop your one-word seed in the comments. One word that names the energy you want this week. It anchors the intention and invites an aligned community to notice and support it. Before we close, a few clarifying notes that matter. When I use metaphors like the radio dial, the field, or even the word quantum, these are poetic ways to describe how possibility feels when your internal landscape shifts. They are not technical claims about physics. Treat quantum as a metaphor for potential and observer influence. Also, if you are working through significant medical or psychological issues, these practices are supportive adjuncts, not substitutes for professional care. Seek qualified support where needed. Finally, the heart of the message. Manifestation isn't hard when you stop forcing it. It becomes a practice of becoming. You don't acquire the life. You become the frequency that allows that life to arrive. That means tending your nervous system, aligning thought and feeling, cleaning your energetic field, taking small, brave actions, and choosing your people and inputs wisely. Over time, those consistent signals reprogram expectation and open doors that frantic effort rarely finds. If this shifted something for you, subscribe and join a community that practices coherence. Plant your one-word seed in the comments. Let it be the daily signal you return to. Be gentle with yourself. This is not about perfection. It's about steady tending. Begin again tomorrow with the same single question. What energy am I choosing today? You don't need to force it. You need to tune.